What is goody, everybody? So, third game into the Summer League, and we lost again. And this was kind of a sting for the Clippers, if we're being honest with you, because we started off pretty strong, and then we hit a little road bump, and a little disappointing that we lost. A lot of our players, kind of played more on the struggling side. Um, the first half, the Nuggets just had that momentum, towards their favor. Matt Mitchell, he was hitting his shots. Christian Braun, Payne Watson was being a pretty good defender. Um, let's see, Gillespie, solid point guard. Braun, the first round pick they took this year, he was kind of like a good defender, but he couldn't really hit any shots. But the Clippers, man, third quarter, we started taking control. Brandon Boston actually started finally hitting shots, hit back to back. And then, we kind of stayed pretty close. Then we wound up getting pretty sloppy. We wound up getting lots of turnovers, and we got the easy boneheaded turnovers. But one of the turnovers was when Scrub tried to pass the ball to Xavier Moon, but Xavier Moon was just having a Butterfinger moment, and he lost the ball. So that was that. Um, but then fourth quarter, it was like a swing factor. There were moments when we gained momentum, but then we just couldn't finish. This was a game that we should have won. It was I don't know what to exactly say. It was kind of a little bit of the opposite of last night, because last night we started off pretty good and then we just fell apart. This game, we started off fairly rough. I didn't watch the first quarter, if I'm being honest with you, but the second quarter, Nuggets was already leading double digits, but we kind of climbed back up in the later quarters, but it just we couldn't finish through. We just again suck. We did not play, and also Moussa Diabate did not play any minutes, so I do not know why he did not play any minutes, because that dude was pretty darn helpful for us. And Diabate, man, he needs to play minutes. He needs in the actual regular season. I would be more than happy to play Diabate as a just like every other games, if not the starting power forward, because our power forwards are pretty old, and you know how the Clippers are. They kind of have the injury problem, and plus, considering that our power forwards are old, I'm a huge proponent of playing Moussa Diabate at least a cool 20 minutes to take the load off Nick Batum and Robert Covington. I prefer to let Diabate loose and have Batum and what's his face, Robert Covington be the Andre Iguodala role, just reserve him more in the playoffs, but just play Diabate some minutes to get his feet wet, so during the playoffs you could actually play him as an emergency, or you could just play Diabate as a center. Depends how you want to use him, but all I just want to say is Tyronn Lue. I just want to see him play the young guys a lot more. But anyways, let's get down to player by player. So first player, it was I'm gonna just break down would be Jason Preston. Jason Preston was honestly the best player of the game, and honestly starting to show that he could definitely be a really good role player for the Los Angeles Clippers, or like a like a really good role player, or even kind of a semi star for the Clippers. It's pretty good point guard, pretty high IQ. Um, there was this one play that he set it up. Um, it was Brantley, or yeah, I think it was Brantley. He's when he was inbounding pass, he just threw a bullet to Brantley, and he got that easy layup that almost led to the comeback. But we just couldn't finish. But Preston, yeah, he really did his thing, and like again, hopefully he gets some minutes during the regular season. Like I said, Preston, just a pretty smart player. Like he's really good at setting up plays. Like he's not gonna be like anything like too shabby, but he's definitely like could help the team. Like just you know definitely get the job done and help a lot. Just help make the teams like a lot better. Like, but one thing I could say about Jason Preston is he could work on his ball handling because like Preston like he doesn't like have the between the dribbles at all. He could just cross you up and just blow like past you. Like he's kind of semi prone to get locked up, but like not like too loose, but like not that loose that he would be turnover prone. But he cannot really like drive to the lane like as much as you would like him to do because he's not like saucy. He's not like a Reggie Jackson or a Chris or I don't yeah probably Chris Paul, Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving type. He's not like that type. He's just like a simple. He's like a big like definition of a really fundamentalistic like type of guard. Like he's just simple, just pass the ball. He can shoot the ball pretty solid. But his biggest strength though is his floater is pretty good. Like my apologies, but his float game is pretty tough. Like and it's also like decently tough to guard. And like I said, he's a reliable three, 3 point shooter, and his free throw is his free throw is solid. But yeah, Preston, like he's shown that he could definitely be a pretty good point guard. And more thing to add is, like I thought his defense was pretty solid too. He is like 6'4" and he does have the size, that's a that's a huge plus. And then next player, Brandon Boston Jr. Because let's get to Brandon Boston Jr. Man, he had a really rough game. I'm not gonna lie to you, but anyways, so he shot 3 for 15, which is that is actually pretty like like I know Brandon Boston. He could be on the inefficient side, but damn, 3 for 15, that's pretty rough. But I mean, he still did his thing. Like he had some like clutch moments when he like almost like put the Clippers up to like just behind 2 points in the third quarter. But other than that, like he struggled to hit his shots. But I mean, you can't always have good games in general. But honestly, Brandon Boston struggled the last game too. But he managed to get to the free throw lines more. But yeah, like I guess like that may give Tyronn Lue like a hinder on why not to play Brandon Boston Jr. because his efficiency is not on point. But I would still stand by to just play Brandon Boston Jr. because that man's a walking bucket, and I'm still gonna refuse to trade this guy no matter what. Because I'm not gonna. Because nah, you don't want to see Brandon Boston Jr. go anywhere. Because dude is just intangible is there. Intangible is there, but yeah, like his efficiency was just pretty rough. But his passings were pretty promising. He did have some tough takes, but he played pretty rough. Now, other players, Reggie Perry, he was pretty solid. Like he was the replacement of Musa Diabate. Um, he shows some promise of shooting threes. Rebounding is pretty solid too, but nothing too no major flaws about him. Like he gets the job done. He's kind of like a power forward center hybrid type player. Like pretty solid, pretty solid big. Um, we just seen more minutes of Justin Bean. He seems to be a pretty smart player. He got that one nice putback. Like just did his job. Other players, Michael DeVoe, he did alright. Let's see. Um, Brandon Lee, he gets the job done. He did solid. But now let's talk about Jay Scrubb, my my That's what I'm known for, being a J Scrub supporter. But J Scrub in this game, like he did better, like compared to last game, but his field goal looked the same, but he took more of the passive route this time. He didn't really like go too unselfish, but his shots just really couldn't hit. But he just he just played some pretty solid plays when he got that nice pass with Jason Preston. Um, his defense was not as good as last night. However, he did get blown by some guards, but he still wasn't a bad defender. But like last night he played better defense. But this game he wasn't as bad because he actually hit his free throws, which is that is pretty crucial. If you cannot hit your field goals, you have to hit your free throws because if you hit your free throws, that will make up for all the inefficiencies that you have. And Scrub did that tonight, and he was like the leading scorer of the Clippers. But I'd say Bryson is the best player because he did set his teammates for like the right things. Um, but yeah, but Scrub he kind of had a solid moment, I guess, but because he did have that one beautiful and one take, and then he drained a free throw, which is again that's good because Scrub he was pretty abysmal for a free throw last night game, but yeah, that's essentially the Clippers. Now talking about the Denver Nuggets. So first star was um Matt Mitchell. He scored like 15, 17 points. He was knocking down threes, just pretty solid player. Gillespie, solid point guard for them, 12 points. Um, I'll actually show you the stats soon, but just solid player, does his job done. Peyton Watson, Christian Braun playing good defenders, but pretty raw offensively. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much just really it, if we're being honest. But let's just get through the stats this time, just so y'all could get like a full perspective and you could kind of like dig in on what you think. So this is the stats for the Clippers. So Brandon Boston, 3 for 15, which is that is actually pretty rough. But um, he did not go to the free throws at all. So he he scored only 8 points. He got some rebounds, but he was really off this game. 3 for 15, which is like. But again, we all know what Brandon Boston can do when he's on when he's in rhythm, and that is pretty scary. So Jarrell Brantley, like I said, does a job, nothing too much. Got some good rebounds, assists, 6 points, nothing too crazy. He was like the most. Oh well, okay, I don't know about the most efficient, um, but he is solid. Reggie Perry, um, like I said, showing capabilities, shooting threes, um, fairly solid. Um, just nothing too special about him. And Jay Scrub, if you look at his efficiency, you're gonna think, oh, he's always doing bad and everything. But Scrub, he was actually the leading scorer, and he actually hit his darn free throws this time. And hey, that's what Scrub needs to do. Hit them free throws. If Scrub hit them free throws, he would not be slandered. He actually went 9 for 9, so pretty impressive on that. And he definitely got some rebounds as well too. He was I'll just say eh, second best rebounder, tied with Brandon Boston Jr. Um, got 2 assists, but got one nice dom to Preston. Um, but Scrub, his turnover is showing, and that's one thing Scrub needs to cut down his turnovers in. It's just because he's kind of how to say his handles are kind of are because Scrub is a pretty fast player, but the thing is his handles are kind of like they're like it's like slower for his too slow for his speed. Like his handles aren't like bad, but like the thing is, Scrub is a really quick player, and his handles like he's prone to getting stripped pretty fast. Scrub is a pretty athletic player and fast. So you kind of like need to have like a like a Paul George, Brandon Boston, um, Brandon Ingram type handles, which is good enough that he could cross someone up. But like that's one thing Scrub could definitely work on. It's just tying up the handles. And Scrub did have some assists that like failed passes that just couldn't connect, which is like not really his fault. Like the pass he did to Xavier Moon and it just got intercepted. Um, but yeah, that's what Scrub could cut down on. But he did a lot better, like at least offensively, than last game. But yeah, Jason Preston he went 3 for 8, which is not too pretty on the field goal, but he got some floaters. And of course he set up his teammates pretty well, which just showed 6 assists. One of the pass was to Jarrell Brantley, and that was a really like high Q pass. So that could definitely get him some playing time because his like one thing that coaches loves is IQ. And Preston, like throughout all the games, he shows that he definitely has the IQ and he's definitely pretty good at setting up his teammates. Um, Rebounding solid. Turnover is pretty good. Only 2 turnovers, so that's a plus. Xavier Moon, he's kind of like regressing since like Preston is kind of like taking the spots. So Xavier Moon, like he just really didn't do anything for being like really honest. Um, like he just couldn't hit shots, just couldn't do too much. So I don't know if Moon would be getting like any minutes because um he did show a lot of flash in the G League last like months ago. Like he showed spurts, like especially his mid range, but he's still pretty raw and just again he didn't really score and he did get some assists. But just he just didn't do he just was not really producing if we're being like really honest. Cam Reynolds, he was actually a pretty good player in this game. He was pretty efficient. He hit timely threes. 11 points, pretty solid. Just a pretty good spot up shooter. Just in the timely quarter, you need him to shoot. Just bam, swish. Justin Bean, he actually got some minutes. He seems to know what he's doing. Pretty good. Like his IQ is pretty solid, so he did his thing. 3 for 6. Um, didn't do anything too crazy. He got some rebounds, so that's a plus. But would I put would he get the spot over Jay Scrub and Brandon Boston Jr.? I wouldn't, because Scrub is just a lot younger, and Bean's already like 25 years old. He's older than half of the All Stars. He's older than Donovan Mitchell, so I mean he may get a roster spot somewhere else, but he showed a lot of flashes. His IQ is pretty good, so that's a plus. Keen Wallace, didn't do anything too crazy, just nothing too much. Michael DeVoe just didn't. He was alright. Didn't do anything too much. But I'm pretty disappointed that Musa Diabate didn't play any minutes because I don't know, was he hurt or something, or I think Tyronn Lue or whoever the Clippers summer league coaches. I thought Diabate just too good for the summer league. Like just rest him. I don't know, but I think yeah, he did have the collision with Scrubs, so I guess they didn't want to play Musa Diabate because he would have probably aggravated his injury, and it's a summer league, and you don't want to um just kind of aggravate an injury to make things worse. But Diabate, like, I don't know if he played, we definitely easily won this game because dude is just such a good defender. He could guard all positions, and his shot is pretty promising too. Like, unlike what the college stats say. But more like evaluation on Jay Scrub, like I really think like he's like this year's version of Amir Coffey because like if we remembered Amir Coffey, he played pretty off like last year games, but when he actually but prior when Amir Coffey got some spurts of the minutes, Amir Coffey is actually um like a pretty promising player. Like he really could do his thing, but he just struggled in summer league and he struggled within the first few months. So like I would not count out Scrub at all because like Scrub, like if we're being honest, like he didn't do like as bad as Amir Coffey compared to last year. And plus Scrub is younger than Amir Coffey too. So like I would really hope Scrub gets the roster spot. I mean Xavier Moon he got the two-way, but Xavier Moon really couldn't. It's just not producing whatsoever. So I mean, like I would most definitely give the two-way to Scrub rather than Moon, just because um, Moon can really produce. But again, like who knows? But I still hope Scrub just gets a roster spot because that man is talented, and I don't want to see this guy wear a different NBA uniform other than the Clippers. But anyways, like enough me talking about the Clippers for a little bit. So I was just breezed by to the Denver Nuggets. So Peyton Watson, really good defender, solid pickup. He could probably get some minutes during the season, and just like the commentator pushed for that too. So like I think the commentator mentioned something about Mike Malone said I wouldn't be afraid to play Peyton Watson some minutes. So like hey, you never know. He's probably gonna get some minutes. Um, but he's a pretty high energy player. Like just a wing slash power forward that could get the job done. Solid player, but he's really raw offensively, and he needs to work on his free throws. Christian Braun, pretty raw offensively. He was like whopping 10%, but he was getting rebounds and assists and blocks, and he definitely had some plays when he locked up Brandon Boston Jr. Um and Jay Scrub. So he's a he's a promising defender for the Denver Nuggets. Kamagate, he didn't really do anything too much. Matt Mitchell, he was hitting shots. He was the one killing the Clippers tonight. 50% from the three, pretty tough. Gillespie, solid point guard, 45% from the field goal. Um, Gets the job done. Solid player. Jack White, another solid player. 100% from three, 5 for 6. Most of the other players, they didn't do too much. Like they contributed it in some other moments, but they didn't do too much. But Nuggets, they just beat us because like they played hard and like we just turned the ball over too much and we kind of played pretty sloppy. But let me know what you think about the summer league against the Denver Nuggets, or just let me know what you think about the Clippers summer league roster. Like we just kind of get sloppy and we just couldn't hit our shots. If we're keeping being, we just couldn't hit our shots. But yeah, just let me know what you think about a particular player. Just leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get with y'all in the comment section. And as y'all know, much love, peace.